Sexy Reds, Pete. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
We're not getting through this, are we?
Sexy Red drops a sex tape. Yeah, this is
You better not
you
hit
know,
play.
this is basically a trend starting with, Kim Kardashian and Suki Hana got her own little sex tape that dropped. Sexy Red got one
shit,
that
I missed
dropped
that one.
now. We just
Oh, you did?
hey, you ain't missed nothing. Your boys got it. I'll shoot it to you right after
Yeah,
this.
shoot that
But
this way when we
but
finish.
but what I'm saying
Choice
is
words.
what I'm saying. Yeah, choice words, right?
Yo,
What I'm
pause.
saying is
Yeah, nah.
what I'm saying is, this is becoming a trend in society right now. I mean, what do you guys think about this?
It's
Women
bad.
are
It
dropping
sucks.
sex tapes nowadays just to gain clout.
And then not only that, but what clout are you getting when you like? Who do you have to be if you want to be an upstanding person? Nobody gives a damn. They just want to see your ass. It's tough being a chick out here. Like you ain't getting numbers if you ain't doing the most. And the numbers do matter now because you get paid off them and you get offers off them, and can become really hard to remain in a certain space and believe that that even means something or is powerful or is a thing because you just don't get the engagement. Like, and it's brainwashing
I
the
mean, I
men
hear
too.
that,
There's
Jamie.
a lot to it. It's just a lot. It's not fun for me as a woman. It sucks.
I feel that because if you want to make your living, based on shit that needs engagement and these numbers and these views and clicks and all that shit, etc., then yeah, I mean, if you ain't busting it down, it's gonna be slow going for you. Uh, the only way to keep some integrity, it would seem, is to find something else to do, because you're right. Like I consider myself somewhat sane most of the time. But even the shit that I run to on Twitter, like when Sexy Red dropped this morning, I didn't give a fuck about the Speaker of the House being ousted in a historical fucking end around, or the petrol prices, and none of that shit. I probably shouldn't say this. I spent too much time in my workday earlier today scouring the far reaches of the World Wide Web to see if that pink and brown colorway was really what she said it was. And for the record, Twitter says she's a lie. Twitter says that pink is more like a mauve, perhaps a salmon. It ain't really that bright pink like it should be, but I digress. Yeah,
Oh
Jamie,
God.
Look.
you're right. I got
It's so
sidetracked.
challenging.
Here's the problem, right? So we talk about stuff for the Black community, right? Black culture is a part of our show. There aren't any other cultures who are looking at what we're talking about and got tons of people and our youth flocking to it the way we do, and that's what
correct.
We've
Because the shit was always a problem.
We've got to, and I don't have the answer. Like, we don't have any leaders. We don't have anybody that's going to step up, because part of it, like back in the day with Malcolm, with Martin, like none of these women would likely be doing the things that they're doing if we had a leader like that, because there would be some level of pride about our culture, and we're losing pride in our culture. We have a subset who are fascinated with these things that are completely detrimental, and we can't even see past that because we're growing up in this bubble of gangs and violence and drugs, and we're dumbed down and completely like out of touch with what reality is, where we should be out. I mean, I don't even want to get into what we should be doing because there's a whole long story, but that's a major problem that we have.
Where's our pride?
But see,
as a collective?
part of what you said was like, oh well, our people wouldn't be acting this way if we had leaders like Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, etc. But the thing about that is that's a chicken and egg argument, because the leaders come from the community. Like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X didn't appear from the ether and trickle down morals and shit to the community. No, those communities that had some pride about themselves gave rise to people like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King.
but that, but
They garbage in, garbage out. So
yeah.
the reason,
That's why that's the answer, you know?
but right, but that starts not from a leader down. That starts from a people up.
Right, but
And we
Correct.
and that's
and
part of
I
how.
we might be too far gone for that shit.
Right,
Which is
and that's part of the whole setup, right? We they created, you know, the welfare system. They created all of these, and I'm not trying to like say here's the man, but there's all of these systems set up to keep us in these single parent homes, to keep us away from having like Martin and Malcolm X. I mean, Malcolm X wasn't really like in a great home, but you've got people who had these strong
He was
family.
raised with some pride though, from
Right,
early.
there was
His
some
dad
pride
was a
about the
Garveyite.
families
Like he
that
had
they
some
grew up
shit
with.
instilled in him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And nowadays there's that pride isn't there. Like these people clearly there can't like how could you create that? Like Jamie, you said you wouldn't do those things out of respect for your dad.
and myself.
Hannah, whatever her name, I don't even know what her name is Sexy Red, can't have a father
Don't
in
do
their
that,
life
Kay. You
that
know
they
her
respect.
name.
They don't have. There's no
Don't do
father.
that.
There's no adult figure in their life that they can say I respect. Because if they
Yeah,
did,
there's
there's
no
no way
shame.
they'd be creating this
And
type of music.
and it was modeled. So again, it's like respect for my father and respect for myself. You have to see it. So it's a like you said, Miles, a bottom up situation. So when we talk about what are we going to do, we can only do what we can do, which is raise our kids to the best that we can and be the type of
That's
example
all we
that makes
got
some damn
left.
sense out here.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I think
Because
for me, when I look at this whole thing, you know, the three of us, um, should feel the most weight when we see women like Sexy Red and Suki Hana and all these other, you know, chicks out here busting it open and coming up with sex tapes and stuff. And when I say the three of us, I mean figuratively, right? As the men who are on this panel, because the way our women act are a reflection of our leadership. And so if we, you know, as a collective group of men, you know, have women amongst our ranks busting it wide open and booty holes is pink or mauve or whatever, salmon or whatever it
no,
is.
booty hole's
It's a
brown, okay? You gotta get this
okay,
color.
okay,
This is the second time you fucked up this color palette. You
Wait,
have to
let
dumb
him
okay.
down on
finish because
this.
he
Booty
preaching though.
booty holes brown. It's a direct
Yes.
reflection on the
It
men in our
is.
community, and that's the thing that, you know, I think as men we have to communicate to the younger men as you know, as the elders, to say, hey, however the women, you know, move in our community, it's because we allowed this shit. It's not
See, you're
because
gonna
It's a
they
reflection of you.
yeah, it's not because they run shit in our community. It's not, they're not the leaders. We are. And you know, I'm not saying it's one, two, three. I'm not saying it's all on our shoulders, but just as a community of black men, you know, we do have to take some responsibility to say, hey, when the women in our community act like savages, you know, it's on our watch.
How do you think
you
men
gotta
today would respond to that?
you're gonna disagree with me probably vehemently about this, but this is my where I see it. Uh Sukiana and Sexy Red are not our women. Now they got a you know, similar amount of melanin in their skin and shit as me, but that's not, those ain't my women. They're not under none of my authority. They're not under none of my leader. There's nothing I could do, and when I say I mean us and black men similar to us. Those ain't our women. Our
There's
women are the Jamies of the world. Our women
yeah,
are, you know, our y'all's daughters, our sisters, our, our women that we know. There's no hope for the Sexy Red. You can say that we should feel the most weight for it, and yeah, I mean that shit sounds good, but the fuck am I supposed to do with somebody that far gone?
I mean,
but
I
but the
mean, you
point
know, not to duck.
I was gonna say the point is more of like you're saying figuratively. Like think back to um, the Black Panthers, right? Like If there was if there were was a community like that, they wouldn't have any women putting tapes out like that. Like during that time, if there was something that was a collective in that fashion, where again that pride, that sense of pride in our community was there, there wouldn't be anybody out there making tapes like this,
See,
going out there
that's
taping
not
girls
really true,
unprepared.
Kay. That's not really true
No,
because the Black Panther
within our
era was the
community, I'm not
exact
saying
same
anywhere
era
in the
as
whole
black
world,
exploitation.
but
That
within
was
the
the
Black
exact
Panther
same years.
community, there I know, but look, that's even there. There was still a certain level of like there's a there's a limit. There's still a limit. There was always a limit to where it would go. Like there's no more limit. It's like you can't get any further than where we are right now. There's no
See, I don't
more.
Well,
know.
well, well, well. Here's what I would tell you. Um, the black community, I would say, probably since the 1930s, 1940s, we've always been watering down the strength of the men in the community. Even during the Black Panthers in the 70s, when the women's right movement happened, that was still a part of the watering down of men, especially of black men. You look at Asian culture. Look at Asian culture. They not having that shit. You know why? Because them motherfuckers don't play that shit. They
Period.
don't play it. And so when we start talking about black men in the past, yeah, it's been a lot of errors where black men haven't shown the strength of other men in other communities.
What was
And
the name?
it's been a direct reflection of how we lead. Bottom
My
line.
question. What was the name of the man who had Brittany Renner on? What's his name?
Shannon
That's
Sharp.
Shannon Sharp.
Shannon Sharp.
Shannon Sharp. So even for him, why you got her on your show? Why are you giving a platform to her for what? What does she do? What does she add?
Real
So
quick,
I'm looking at him
he's
sideways.
he's a
I'm looking at Shannon
he's an
sideways.
athlete.
I don't care.
He's an
I'm looking at him
athlete.
sideways.
Well, I'm trying to answer your question. The reason that she's on his show is because he talks about sports, and Brittany Renner came to prominence. The reason that we even knew who she was is because she was out here talking about. First of all, she got knocked up by an NBA player, and then brazenly said, "Watch your sons, watch your nephews. If they about to sign a big contract, I'm about to catch one of them." That's why she's relevant to a sports show. Now you can say, well, Shannon Sharp specifically shouldn't have had her on there, but that's the reason. That's the reason Sukiyana wasn't on there, but Brittany Renner was because
Yes.
because it's in the context of sports. You don't have to like it, but that's the reason.
No, but it's not. But
Now
again,
she
the reflection. Where's the limit? Again, she's not an athlete. She's not a this or that. You can correlate it all you want. I get how they made 1 + 1 = 2 in their minds. Again, the type of woman I am, I'm still looking at Shannon Sharp. I don't care what Brittany Renner did. Why are you giving her a platform and chuckling and 35 and da-da? He's weak to me for that. So I'm just telling you my perspective. You can try to make sense of it all you want, but
That's
there
cool.
is
No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm
there's
not
a
trying to talk you off of that.
responsibility that black men have too, and they don't do it no more. My father would never even have a conversation with her in his like. He's a journalist
Mine,
too.
mine
Like
might, mine might have a conversation with her, but it wouldn't be public.
you're giving
But
platform
no.
and
So
perpetuating something that don't serve the collective, and I'm over it. It's annoying. We're over it.
Yeah. Yeah. And
and
I'm
I'm
she
not
said
and I'm not
35. She said she had
we're talking
35
about some
bodies,
chick
and
sex count, and you expect me to think you're a
And
respectable
Shannon
man?
Sharp acted like he was shocked. He started drinking yak and shit. But see, the reason he was shocked is because the number she said was
Miles.
so low. He knew she was full of shit.
yeah.
All the stuff
Like,
you're
there's
saying
no
is
fucking way
so
she been with 35 niggas. Maybe
Yeah.
this year,
Damn.
No.
but
So
no.
I'm so proud of him. He's
so
such
look,
a
and
upstanding man. I
I don't want
respect him.
anybody to I don't want anybody to think that I am taking any responsibility off of the women. They absolutely deserve,
We're in this
a
together.
lot. They absolutely deserve heat for their behavior for sure. But I just wanted to put that out there that as men, we should be taking this a little bit more personal than we are,
Mm-hmm.
just because we lead the community, And so, if our grip on the community is strong, this shit don't happen. But
I,
I
I don't
wanna
think
I
I
wanna
don't think black men lead the community anymore. And I say that with all due respect, because again, when you look at the women, the reason why people is wilding out right now and women are masculine and all of these things is because, that whole law of polarity thing.
I don't
It's
see a
off balance
community.
now. The leadership has shifted. It doesn't look the same.
yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
You're
I don't see
you're
a
you're
community. I
right.
say raise your kids right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it's come down
Because
to.
there's
And
always been more than one Black America. Even in the times that you're talking about with Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, there was plenty of us doing the fucking most. Now it wasn't publicized, it wasn't on, there was no Twitter and all that shit. But there's always been two Black Americas. Like I said, the
yeah,
Black Panther Party ran parallel with motherfucking Superfly and Goldie and shit. Like that
yeah,
was
I
that.
agree.
There's always been more than one of us. So
Right.
why is that any different now? We can't do nothing.
Yeah.
There's no saving a fucking sexy red. What
Yeah.
type of leadership is gonna get her to quit talking about her butthole color?
I'm not I'm
Tell
not
me.
I'm not
Let me
saying I'm
know.
not saying there's any saving her. I'm not saying that there's any saving her. What I'm saying is,
And when I say her,
as
I mean hers, the sexy reds of the world,
right,
right?
right,
They they
right.
they're not under
And
our guidance,
yeah, no,
but there
they're
are
not
some
they're
women
not
who are.
they're not under anyone's guidance.
Exactly.
But that doesn't mean that as men we should be like, hey, that's cool. As men we should be like, no, all of our women are under our guidance. Now at the
I
end of the
can't take
day,
responsibility if I don't
at
have authority.
Yeah, but the
How
second
does
you
that
say
at
work?
that is when stuff
at
starts falling through the cracks.
yeah,
It
at
just
the end of
is.
the day, we can say all of our women are under our direction. Now, when some of our women go sideways, we still have to take accountability for that. To say, hey,
We can
some of
say
them
what
got
we
away.
want, but that don't make it true. We can
Okay.
say whatever the fuck we want.
Yeah.
No, because words are spells and intentions are
Right.
powerful. So it does depend on where you stand, because everything you do flows through that. So
Right.
even if it's
Hey,
minute,
Yeah,
it does
I don't
matter.
subscribe to none of that.
we're
There's
right.
no
Okay, it's
evidence
the
of that
truth.
to me.
We do disagree. We do disagree on that.